Hey guys, Metal here. So now that I've got somewhere in the neighborhood of 10 hours played since the patch went live, I wanted to give my more in-depth impressions. First, I'll go over the biggest change, and that is the Blackbeard nerf. I think the nerf has put him in a good place. His shield does not break a lot easier, which forces the player to be smarter. Of course, he's still powerful. Anyone acting like being able to take multiple rounds to the face without any effect isn't powerful is insane. Just because he isn't as powerful as he used to be doesn't mean he's not a great pick. He just requires a lot more intelligent play now. If you're faced with multiple enemies or have to peek multiple angles at once, it's much easier to take him out. He still rewards a deliberate and methodical playstyle of peeking and clearing rooms one angle at a time with his shield up. The other big change to him was that his Scar H now has a bit more recoil the longer you spray, so it will become less and less controllable, and I think that's also a good change. So we've also got changes to Doc. He's become a much more versatile operator because he can now heal himself and his teammates for 40 health with his dart gun. He can also overheal up to 120 health. So all of these things add a lot more opportunities for Doc to shine as the match goes on. However, if you have less than 35 health and you have time, then it's better to do the old method of shooting your teammate in the foot and shooting them with a dart gun, because that will set their health back to 75. So if they have like 10 health, then they're gaining 60 instead of just 40. If he's only been tagged a little bit though, then just go ahead and revive him with the just shooting him directly. And I think it's an awesome change. It's made Doc a lot more viable and commonly useful. I also love the changes to the P90. It's awesome in close quarters, but it does not outshine the MP5 at long range, so it's actually a tough choice if you decide do you want to go with the P90 or the MP5. Now, to finish out the operator changes, there's Twitch. Being able to use a shock drone in prep phase is a big deal, but it's not as much of a buff as I thought it would be when I saw the patch notes. Now, the main issue with Twitch's drone is that it can't jump and it can't take more than one bullet. So as soon as a defender sees that drone there, even without its light and making a bunch of noise, they're still just going to snap aim to it and shoot it a lot of the times on PC. Now, it might be different on console, but it feels like you can't really get much done with Twitch's drone. Unless you're trying your hardest to avoid the defenders, but even then you might get caught by a lurker. It's really just luck. You'll have a second chance to make something happen with your shock drone once you spawn in, because you'll get another one instead of a regular drone. But even then, it still feels like just kind of like it used to. It's a bit lackluster. You probably won't make much happen with it. You might be able to use it to finish off a downed enemy or something. But I do think from a balancing standpoint that Twitch is in a good place right now, because she doesn't outshine Thatcher's EMP grenade as far as the destroying electronic equipment goes. But she is in the same armor class. They have the exact same generic gadget toys, being claymores or breaching charges, and she has slightly better weapons. So she's worse at taking out electronics, but she's better at killing people, compared to Thatcher's better at taking out electronics, but worse at killing people. So even if I'd like to see the shock drone be a bit better in game, it is well balanced right now. There's also new muzzle attachments, of course, the muzzle brake and the heavy barrel. The muzzle brake, in my opinion, has outshined the heavy barrel. The heavy barrel gives you slightly more range, but the muzzle brake makes recoil feel so smooth and easy to control that I find myself choosing it far more often. The heavy barrel will do well on low recoil SMGs like Frost's C1 and Caveira's M12, but the muzzle brake often feels so much better to me because since you're getting a one-shot headshot either way, if you're able to control your recoil, the extra damage at range doesn't help. And it's obviously better than the compensator or flash hider as far as I'm concerned. I don't think that the flash hider or compensator significantly changes my recoil in any way, so the muzzle brake is immediately noticeable. So I'm running it on basically every gun now. I'd especially recommend you try out the 416C and the Para 308 with the muzzle brake. Now, the new generic gadgets have changed quite a few things as well. I've been trying to cover them by flanking rounds with claymores as much as possible, but I haven't gotten a kill yet. It's still nice to know that your back is covered. Of course, they don't always kill people. It seems that they will only kill a medium armor operator or below without rook armor. If they have rook armor, though, they will survive. And Doc can also overheal to survive the claymore. So you do still have to be a bit careful of someone tripping the claymore, or of course just seeing it and shooting it. But again, it's a good option, and I think it has added a lot more to the operators that it comes with. Now, the ability to take impact grenades as certain characters on defense, like Rook or Caveira, gives them a lot more mobility. It also allows Rook to take care of making holes in the beginning of the round, which is a bit of a different role than he's normally had. It gives him something else to do, and it also allows your roamers who have nitro cells and shotguns a lot of the times to take their time and to get to spawn killing positions or roaming positions. So I think that's a good change as well, and it also means that you're going to have someone besides Rook take barbed wire. Probably Doc, now that he's a very effective choice. Finally, the lighting seems a little bit better in some circumstances, or actually a lot better in some circumstances. I'm not gonna under exaggerate because it's made a huge differences in places like House Garage. But there's still a lot of maps where I feel like it is not improved. It's still horrible. It's still impossible to look outside. It still looks like there's a choir of angels and Jesus singing outside. So we need to figure out what's going on to fix that because the attackers can see in fairly easily at this point. So overall, that's my impressions on the changes. If you enjoyed this, please leave a like. If you want to see more content from me in the future, either tips, commentaries, or gameplay, please subscribe. If you want to follow me on Twitter or Facebook, the links are in the description below. My official Discord, if you want to game or chat with me and other fans, is also in the description, as well as my Patreon. If you really enjoy my work, I'd appreciate you contributing there. It really helps me commit to doing this full time. I hope everyone enjoyed. Have a great one, everyone.